Hello, welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica, and this is my kitchen. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that it's fall, and I'm just so excited for everything that is happening in my life, and I praise God for everything that He's done. So I love the autumn. It's my favorite time. I love all the food that we cook and how cozy everything is, and that everybody has a more thankful attitude thinking about Thanksgiving and stuff. And I just am so very blessed. So today I'm going to be canning some lima beans, and I've had them soaking overnight and in preparation to be able to just make quick meals in the evening, like after I get off of work. So I'm putting together some broth for my lima beans. I have some filtered water in this pot. I'm going to add some more. I anticipate getting like 20 or 30 jars. I'm going to add a couple bay leaves. Then also I have a mixture of turkey stock here and chicken stock. And they are both just delicious. So I'm going to get them in the pot. Again, use whatever you have. If you don't have chicken broth or you don't have turkey broth, I use bouillon in canning. I know a lot of people don't. They're very against it. Do what works for you. Do what's right for you and your family. This is just going to be delicious. I love making my own chicken broth or turkey broth because, well, first of all, you've already eaten the chicken and it's delicious. But then you also get to use the bones. It's like you get at least 2 for 1, right? But then you also take that broth and you can turn it into something else, and it's just wonderful. So, love it. Then I also have, this is about 4 quarts of water. I'm going to get this on the stove to heat up, and I'm going to get my jars full of lima beans. I soak these overnight and rinse them really well. And now I'm going to fill all of my jars to about half full. And you really don't want to fill more than that, otherwise your jars end up super full of beans and you have no liquid left. So about half full is good. You can do any kind of beans. A bean is a bean. If you don't particularly like lima beans, then do another kind of bean. I have just found that for my family, we do not tend to eat the dry beans in our food storage unless I can them. And it's just, we don't think about it or take the time to do anything with them. So, in order to be a good steward of my food, I take the time to can beans, all different recipes of beans, so that we eat them. Also, if you have dry beans in your food storage, how are you going to know if your family's even going to be willing to eat beans, right? I mean, I know that they last in your food storage like forever. They are long-term food storage things. But if you don't have beans ready to go so that your family is used to eating them, they may decide that they really don't like beans, and then you stored them, and when you need to use them, you're like, oh, well, my family hates beans. So, but I have found that with canning beans, I can incorporate them into part of our regular diet and our regular recipes, and then we use what we have, and we're good stewards of what we have, and we're rotating through our food storage and nothing is going bad. Just food for thought. Having a working pantry that you use, you need to make sure that everything's on a rotation. I'm going to get my beans in the jars and I'll come back when I'm doing something else. All right, I have all of my beans in my jars, but Like I said, since I intend this to be more of a meal or a meal starter, I'm going to add some seasoning. So what I'm going to start with, I have some dehydrated carrots. You could use regular carrot. Do what you have. Do what you like to use. I like using dehydrated vegetables in pressure canning because I think that they hold up really well in the canning process. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of dehydrated carrots in my jars. I am also going to add about a tablespoon of dehydrated onions. I really like the way the dehydrated onions hold up to the canning process. Use what you have. Use what your family is going to eat. Now, I am also going to add a little less than a teaspoon of granulated garlic. Some people really don't like granulated garlic in their canning, but I like garlic in my food, so I'm gonna add it. Then I have this like multi-purpose vegetable seasoning, and it has salt in it, so I'm not gonna add extra salt, but I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of this seasoning to each jar. I'm gonna get my broth and start filling my jars. I'll be back in just 1 minute. I'm gonna fill my jars to 1 inch of headspace. Make sure to debubble. I'm gonna wipe the rim of my jar with my white vinegar, a lid, and a ring, and just to finger tight. Even beans look wonderful in a jar. I'll fill my next jar. Well, my canners are full and they're both on. We're gonna bring them up to pressure, and then beans need to process for 90 minutes. So we're running 2 canners because I'm gonna try and get it done as quickly as I can. One thing though I did want to mention, we had some leftover broth, and so we've also put that in jars, and I'm going to process it. And then because I know that I'm going to need a few jars with all of the number of jars that I have to have a full canner for each load, what I've started doing is I do jar up water and just use a reusable lid, and then you have emergency water on your shelf when you need it. So if you have a void in your pressure canner, I recommend, why not just do a couple jars of water with a reusable lid, and then if you need emergency water, it's there and it's available. It's not like it's gonna go bad. So we'll be back when I'm taking these out of the canner. Well, my timer went off and we turned everything off, and we brought everything down to pressure and just let it do its thing. And now we're gonna take them out. Whenever you're taking your jars out of the canner, make sure that you're grabbing by the glass and not by the ring. I hope this blessed you. Hope it encouraged you. Don't be afraid to try. If you have dry beans in your house, it's a great way to learn to use your pressure canner because they don't cost a lot of money. But it's a great way for you to learn to use your pressure canner, and also it helps you rotate through your dry storage. So anyways, be so blessed. Know that you're loved and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you in the next video.